Hi everybody and welcome to Shields Live. I did pre-record this video since I'm not going to be able to be live this coming Thursday. I didn't have enough staff to be there so I could be free to teach the class, so I'm going to pre-record this video. And what I'm going to do this week is, last week we talked about Art Spira, and some of you had questions about getting your machines onto the internet, and also how to set up a Canvas Workspace account. So I am going to do those. This is what we're going to talk about in this video, and just to give you some prequel to what we did last week, so then it may be easier for you to get everything set up. So I am working on a Luminaire. Many of the machines now are wireless. So the machines that are wireless are like the Luminaires, the Stellaires, the 3700D, the new 2850D, and the new 1850D, and then also the two PRs, the newer PRs, the 680, the 1055, and then the baby locks. So this will also go for the baby locks. So the equivalents in the baby locks would be like the Solaris, the PR like the Array, and the Venture. Those are the PRs, and then it would be the Altair and Meridian for the little bit smaller machine. And then the two small machines are, I think it's the Aurora and the Bloom. There, and then the, oh golly, what is the name of the 6x10 hoop machine in the baby lock? I always forget that one. Used to be the Aventura, but now they've named it a different name. I'll have to go look it up. Sorry guys, I can't remember. I try to remember all the names, but we don't always have that one in the store, so I forget that one. But the machine with the 6x10 hoop and the baby lock will also be wireless. So they're all basically set up the same way, but you may just have a slightly different screen. So to get to the wireless information on your machine, just touch your settings page. So all of the settings buttons are going to look the same. They're basically a piece of paper with a little corner turned down. And it may be, you know, some of the machines it'll be like down here. A lot of the machines with the bigger screens will be at the top. So just touch the settings page, okay? And then you're going to navigate through the pages. So depending on what you have, like I have the buttons down here, like the 3700D, and the smaller machines have a little arrow buttons right here. You're gonna scroll to the page that has the information about the wireless. So it's going to say, the first thing it's going to usually say is wireless LAN. Okay, so what that means is that's the wireless card in your machine. Just like you have wireless cards in your tablets and your computers and your printers, you need to make sure, first of all, that that is turned on. Now, it is turned on my machine already. I'm not going to do the whole thing with you just because I already have mine set up, but I will show you what buttons to push, okay? So the wireless LAN needs to be turned on. So they do come turned off. So make sure you get it turned on. You may have to scroll, if you have one of the smaller machines, with the little arrows to another page to get to the wireless LAN, okay? So turn it on, so hit the on button. And then there's going to be another area that's going to say wireless LAN setup wizard. So depending, again, the smaller machines, it may be on another page. You may have to just click the little arrow to get to it, but it's going to say wireless LAN setup wizard. So what this is going to do is just help you to set it up on your router. So we're going to touch that line, and it's going to search for the router that's closest to it, okay? In my case, mine is already selected on Jan's Dollhouse. That's the name of my router here at home. I'm going to touch that, and there is a saved access point information, okay to connect with this information, and it is okay. So what normally will happen when you touch that is you will get this little, I just canceled, you will get this little area here that says to put in your password. So you need to make sure you know your password for your router in your house, and then you're going to type your password in here, and then at the bottom there's an OK button, okay, down here. the next thing it's gonna connect, and then it's gonna come up, and the next screen will say something about applying the settings, and you just tell it okay one more time, and then it will connect you to the internet. Okay, so that's very important. You have to go through that setup. So make sure, I'm going to return here, you have your wireless LAN turned on. Then you want to click your wireless LAN setup wizard. Okay, and then it will find your router. You just need to know what the name of your router is, and mine is called Jan's Dollhouse. When you have not saved it, you just touch this and it'll come up with a little thing that says network password. Type in your password. Okay, click OK. It's going to come up and say apply, and you're going to say OK again, and then it's going to connect. Okay, so that is the connection process. So I think a lot of you have done that. You just need to know that where it is in the machine. Okay, so a lot of you have done that. Now the other thing that I like to do, and I talked about this in the Artspira video, the other thing I like to do is I like to name my machine what it is. So like at the store, you know, we have a lot of different machines. So like I like to name them, if it's the 3700D, I name it NQ3700D, or I name it the Luminaire, or I name it the PR1055X, because then I know I have multiple machines here at home as well. So then I know which machine I'm choosing when I'm trying to send things to it. And also, you know, that it just helps me know which one I'm choosing then. So I like to change the name. So to do that, you're just going to go to this name. And again, the smaller machines, it may be on another page. You may have to hit the little arrow to get to it, but it's going to say machine name. And then you can hit the change button. Okay. Now I've already got mine. What I want it to say is Luminaire. Yours probably will say sewing machine, blah, 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 blah. There's going to be a bunch of numbers usually. You just hit the little delete button here, and then you can type it in. So you're just going to delete what's there. Okay, so I'll just pretend I'm doing that, and I'm just going to type in what I want it to say. So I want mine to be called Luminaire, so that I know that I'm choosing my Luminaire when I'm ready to choose things from like Artspira, or I use it for design database transfer as well. So I need that way because I have two machines, and then I know which one I'm sending the design to. So I'm going to click Luminaire, and then at the bottom I'm going to say OK. And then what it's going to do, it's going to say please wait. And when it comes up here, it's going to say machine name, and then it's going to tell you the name that you chose. So I find that very useful when I'm using multiple machines in the same house. And I know a lot of you do have multiple machines in your house. So I have two here that are wireless, so that way I know which one I'm choosing. Okay, so then the other thing I wanted to show you in this area is, you know, we got our wireless LAN turned on. We know we have to do the wireless LAN setup wizard, so make sure you know your password for your router and the name of your router for that. And then I like to change the name of my machine. So now I'm going to go down and I'm going to go over one more page on my machine. And the other thing that I like is, oh, let's see, it might be on the page before this one. Let's see. There's another one that allows you to, gotta find it. I'm going to hit the button up here. I can't remember what page it's on, so I'm going to hit this button again. And it's in here. It allows me to download my updates automatically. So it's on one of these pages. You have to turn that on also. And they may have changed something because I'm not seeing it. Let's see. I'm gonna look again. But they used to have a little button that says that you have to turn that on so that it automatically downloads the updates. And you know what? It doesn't have that. It used to be on this page. So I think after they've updated the machines, they have automatically made that on all the time so that it will download your updates. So if your machine needs an update, next to this little wireless icon up here, it's going to have an exclamation point right next to it. So this must have been in one of the last must have been one of the last updates because it's different now. So then you'd have an exclamation point right here next to the next to your wireless icon, and then you know that you need to do an update, and it has already downloaded. That means it's downloaded and it's ready to be installed. So some of the small machines, like the machines like the Luminaire, and I know the PR 1055, and I think the new 680 will allow you to do they'll actually download the updates for you, and then you can finish installing them. And it'll say, like on this next page here, it would say, tell you what to do to finish installing it. And basically what you do is turn off the machine, hold in your threader button right here, flip it on, and then just tell it to update. Okay, so it'll say update, it'll say load, and you can hit the little wireless icon and it'll load the update for you. The smaller machines just tell you, I know the 3700D does for sure, and it just tells you there's an update, but you have to manually do it with a USB stick yet, like we used to, okay? So some of the bigger machines now have the ability to actually download the update for you, and then you can install it over the internet, which is really nice. It's easier to keep your machine updated than it used to be, because then you don't have to try to go look and check what the updates are. So the machine does it for you if it's on the internet. So that's the important thing. Go get it on the internet. We're going to go back a page so you can see that. So get your wireless LAN turned on. Use the wizard, and it will help you set up on your router. So you need to know the name of your router and your password, and then change the name of your machine to anything you want. Like if you want to name your machine Emily, you can change it to Emily, whichever you want to do. I usually just name mine the name of the machine so I know which one it is. So that way you know when you're sending things, you know where you're sending it to, because it will come up at whatever your name of your machine is. That's what it will come up in the softwares like Artspira. It will come up as Luminaire, and I have my PR 1055X behind me, and it comes up as the PR 1055X. And it also does that in the design database transfer. So I use that quite a lot, and then I know which machine I'm sending the design to. Okay, so that is your setup for your wireless and your use your wizard. Turn it on, use your wizard, and change your name. And then make sure that you pay attention up here. If there's an exclamation point, that means you have an update. Okay. Before you use Artspira, we talked about that. You do need to be updated to the most current version. Right now, my Luminaire version is 4.51, and so you do need to be updated for all of the machines in order for Artspira to work. So we talked about that last week. Okay, so this is the end of this section of the video. I wanted to show you how to set up your machine on the internet. That's the first thing I do when I get a new machine out at the store, is I set it up on our router so that, you know, we know if there's updates on them, and then if I need to send something like to it from design database transfer, I like to get it set up. And now we have Artspira, so it's fun because then I have all the options of the machines at the store as well. Okay, so I'm going to reset up to do the second part of this video I need to share my screen with you, and then we're going to talk about setting up a Canvas Workspace account. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I'm back for the second part of the video. We're going to go ahead and learn how to set up a Canvas Workspace account. So what I tell everybody to do, there's two forms of this software, and I'll show you both of them. I prefer to use the online version. I usually use that, and I have to use there's a version that is downloadable to your computer. I'll also show you that. But when I set up the account, the easiest thing to do is just to go on your browser. So I'm going to click on my, I'm going to go ahead and click on my Chrome browser here, and I'm going to go ahead and type in Canvas Workspace, I have to spell it though, brother.com. So canvasworkspace.brother.com. And I'm going to go to the website. So when you have not got an account, this is the easiest way to do it. So just go to canvasworkspace.brother.com, and then we're going to register an account. Now I'm just going to go ahead and make a new account for myself. So I'm going to click the register button so you can actually see me do this from start to finish, okay? You can go ahead and, there's a bunch of stuff here to read. Sometimes I don't always read everything, I just kind of skip through it because it's a lot of words, okay? So you do have to agree at the bottom. So I'm just setting this up as if you have no account with Canvas Workspace. This is how we're going to make our scan and cut wireless so that we can send things from the computer to the machine, to the scan and cut machine, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I just scrolled down to the bottom after I hit the register button. I scrolled to the bottom and I'm going to click agree and register. And it's going to come up to the next thing and it's going to ask you to do a login ID. So I'm just going to make up a new ID for myself, okay? And then I have to come up with a password. So I'm going to go ahead and make a password for my account, and you have to type it a second time. Okay, so that's the second thing. So I have my login ID, my password typed twice, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in my email address. So I'm just going to use my, not sure if it's going to let me use my email that I already have set up, so I'll use my other one. I have another email address, so I'll just use that one. Have to make sure I spelled it right. MediacomHighSpeedInternet.com. Okay, so that's I have one email that I don't use very often, so I'll use that one. Okay, so there's my email address. You choose your country, so of course we live in the United States. Most of us do that are watching this video, so we'll pick United States. I'm going to put in my first name and my last name and my date of birth. So now you get to know exactly how old I am, everybody. I was born December 11th. 1965, not to 1983. That would be nice, but I was born in 1965, so we'll go ahead and put that. December 1960. Whoops, it still didn't change it, did it? Sometimes I have trouble with it changing. 65. Let's type it in. There we go. I think it changed that time. Okay, and I decided to be female today, so I'm going to click next. So I chose female, and then I'm going to click next. And then it says confirm your information. Have to remember what my password is. I think I remember now. I didn't write it down, so I probably better write it down real quick so I won't forget. Give me a second here and I'll write it down on my pad of paper next to me. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got all of that. There's my email address and then all of that, and then I'm just going to click register. Okay. The registration confirmation email message has been sent. Click the URL in the send email message to complete the registration. Okay, so I have to wait for my email to come in to my Mediacom email, which is on this computer. That's why I chose that one, because it's right here. So I'm going to click on my email little icon down here and see if it came in. It takes sometimes a little bit with Mediacom. Oh, there it is. So there's my Canvas Workspace confirmation email. So I'm going to click on that, and then it says, thank you for registering. Click the following URL to complete your registration. So I'm just going to click on this little link down here, and then it's going to shoot me back to my registration. It says, now start Canvas Workspace. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the button and start my Canvas Workspace. Okay, so this is the one that we want to talk about. So once you have registered online, there are two versions of the software. This little box that just popped up says the PC version of Canvas Workspace has been upgraded. You can download it, okay? And then this one is going to be a program on your computer. So the difference between the one online and the one on the computer, they actually look different. The interface or the screen looks quite a little bit different. There are some of the stuff that you do, there's some of the stuff you do with a scan and cut that you have to use this downloadable version of the software. So I do have it on my computer. It is not my favorite version of the software, so I normally do not use it every day. I like to use the online version of the software. However, I am limited to the, what's particularly limiting, I should say, when you're using the downloadable version, you can use all of the true type fonts or the fonts that are on your computer in the software. I cannot do that on the download or on the browser version. So I'm limited to the 20 or so, 25 fonts that are on there. I so often use this for editing and things like that, so it doesn't bother me. The fonts are pretty good, so I use, most of the time, I use the one online. But I will show you both of them, so I'll log into the other one with my other account here in a moment. So if you would want to download the version that is on your computer, hit this download button. It is for Windows or Mac, so they have two versions. They do look different as well. So download it, and then you need to install it on your computer like you would any other computer program. Okay, so I'm not going to do that right now. I just want to show you in the browser version, which is the one I use most of the time. Since we're already here, I'm going to show you how to set up your machine through this version. This part of it will look the same no matter which section of the software you're using or which version you're using. Okay, so I'm just going to click close on this for right now because I'm not going to download it. I do have it downloaded, and I'll open it so you can see it. Okay, so when Canvas Workspace opens up, it has all these, and we've talked about these things. And like when we did around Christmas time, we did a project from here. So they have all these really nice Canvas projects. There's just tons of them, and these are all free. And it's all these really fun cutting projects that you can do. They have cards, and they have all kinds of different things. So make sure you look here because there's a lot of fun things to make. Okay? If you like to craft, there's lots of fun things to make. You also will have a tab up here that says My Projects. And as you make things in the software, it will save them here, okay, that you can download them. This little tab is the pattern collections that are available, and anything that you have activated on your account will show activated here. This is a new account for me, so nothing is activated. You'll notice that there's nothing activated. And then there's also Disney designs that you can purchase, and then they will show activated here if they have been activated, okay? So I am going to show you how to, I unregistered my scan and cut that I have here at home so that I can show you how to register it, and then I will re-register it to my regular account that I use. So this one I won't use, but I wanted to show you from start to finish how to do this. Okay, so in order to get our scan and cut registered with this account so we can send things back and forth, okay, we need to click on the little person up here with your screen name next to it. So click on that button up there. And when this comes open, this is going to look the same on the downloadable version as well. It says, you know, here's your information settings, here's the pattern collections and premium collections. So we're not going to do that yet, but we're going to register a machine. So I clicked on the little person up here with my name on it, my screen name, and then I'm going to click on the words machine registration. And you can have more than one machine registered at once. So I'm going to go ahead and register a new machine. So I'm going to click on the button that says register a new machine. And it says go to get PIN code screen on screen of your machine, input your machine number that is shown at the bottom of the screen and press OK. So we have to go over here to our scan and cut. Now I'm going to attempt to switch over to my other camera. We'll see if this works. Otherwise, I may have to splice a couple of videos together. I'm using my one program, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So give me a second. So I'm gonna try to get over to my camera on my scan and cut so you can see what I'm gonna do, because I gotta go get the number for the machine to enter here. All right, so just a second here. Let me bring this up. It'll look a little weird for a minute. Then I can go into my camera and I'm going to maybe, oops. Okay, so right now I'm using my display, but I'm gonna try to use let's see if I can have a second source. Oh, here we go. Here's my camera. Okay, so there's my camera, and hopefully you're still hearing me okay and it's not too loud. I think I'm still on my regular microphone. So I'm going to check the microphone too. Sometimes it gets very loud if I don't check my mic volume. So I'll just check the mic volume so you get to see how to do that too. Just going to check. Oh, I think we're doing good. So we're still on the same microphone. Okay. So I'm going to turn my computer around a little bit so you can hear me okay. All right. So we're going to go over to our machine now. Let me find my little stick. And we have to get to where we can get the number off the machine. There's a little serial number like inside the machine. So I'm going to go click on the settings button, and I'm going to go down a few. It's going to be a few pages. So we have to kind of go down towards the bottom here. And it's going to say number. Okay, so here's the number of your scene. I don't even have to click on it, I don't think. Oh, maybe it's still registered to my other one. Let me just delete this. I deleted it off my other machine. I have to delete it off here so that it will let me do it. Okay, we'll re-register everything, so don't worry. Okay, so I need to go here and I need to find the number of my machine. So here's my number on my machine, okay? So I'm gonna write this down on a piece of paper so I can type it in over here. Give me a second. It's kind of a long number, so I won't remember it. And then you need the little dash in there. Okay, so I think I've got the number. Make sure I got it written down right here. 4049-9. Okay, so there's my number of my machine. Okay. So now I have to go back over to my Canvas Workspace. So give me a second. I'm going to go back to my first camera. I'm going to share my screen again with you. Okay, I know this looks weird, so I'll get it down so you can see it. And then we're going to go back to input the machine number. So it says to put the number in. So I'm going to go down here to this little line, and I'm going to type that number in of my machine. So it was 38919-14049-9. Oh, but it even puts the dash in for you, so that's cool. So make sure I got it right. 38919-14049-9. Okay, cool. We got that. So then I'm going to click OK on this screen. So I've got my number in. So it needs to know how to talk. So then it's going to give me a PIN code on this screen. So the PIN code is going to be put on the scan and cut. So we need this 4-digit code. I'm just going to type and write this number down so when I'm facing the other direction I can see it. Okay, so give me a second and I'm going to switch cameras again so we can go back to the scan and cut. Give me a second here, get my second source. Okay, so here is then my scan and cut again, and we're going to place that number on the screen that says, see, it says machine registration. It says not registered. Okay, so that's where we need to be, is on that machine registration. So I'm going to click on that button, and it says machine registration register. So I'm going to click the register button. So here's my number. Okay, and you could also get the number here. I've always just gotten it off the regular number, but it's right here too. Okay, and then I'm going to Click OK. And the next screen is asking for that PIN code that the software gave me on my computer. So I'm going to type in that PIN code, 7255. And then I'm going to click OK. By clicking OK, the following information will be sent to Brother's server to pair your machine with your application ID. So in other words, on our account. Okay, so then I'm going to do that. I'm going to click OK. And it's going to think for a little bit. Now, of course, this machine is also on my router, just like it works just like we just did the machine in the previous version of the previous part of the video. It works just the same way. So the machine registration setting has been specified. Okay. So I'm going to click OK. And now it says my ID that I just set up is now, this machine is now set up with my Canvas Workspace account, my new Canvas Workspace account. Okay. If you want to change it, so I'll probably change it back later, I'll hit the change button and then I can re-register it to my regular account that I always use. Okay. So since we know this is set up, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit my home button. Oops, I have to hit back first and then hit OK. Sorry. And then again, if you had not had your, we'll go through the wireless setup. It's just exactly the same as the machines. You just have to go to the wireless part on here. I should have done that first. I'm sorry I didn't do it first, but I think you'll understand. It's the same as on the machine. So I have to go find the right page. It's network. It's under network. Okay, we're going to click that. And then you'll make sure your LAN is on, just like the sewing machine. And then you're going to hit the setup wizard. And then it's going to ask for, it's going to look for your router. My router is called Jan's Dollhouse. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then I'm going to type in my number, just like I did on the sewing machine. Okay, so we have to have everything on the same router, okay, for it to all talk to each other. So I think everybody understands that. So that's what that is, okay? This machine also will help you then know if there's an update for it. If I go back, and I think it's on the next page right here. See where it says version right here? If there is a new version, it'll actually, up here by the little icon at the top of the screen, it'll actually put a little exclamation point here too. And then you can do, you can check, download the update, and then you can do it all wirelessly with this machine as well. So it's so handy. So make sure it's on the internet, and then they will talk back and forth. Okay. All right, so whoops, a second, I have to hit the back button one more time. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you quickly how to send something then. Since it's all set up, we should be able to send designs from our software to this machine. So give me a second here. And I'll go back to my screen. I know it looks weird, so I'm sorry about that. All right, so we got our PIN code. I'm going to go down here and click OK because we're all done with that. And then if you notice under machine registration, it then says ready for data transfer. So we're all ready to go. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the word Canvas Workspace here. And we're just going to send something to the machine so you know that it worked. Let's just go into my projects. There was one little design here. I'm just going to click it. If I hover over it and then click this little button right here, edit this project, it'll bring it up on a mat. Okay, so here's the little butterfly, and I would like to send this to my machine. So I'm going to click the download button, and then I'm going to click to, and I don't want to put it on the computer, I want to send it to my scan and cut transfer. So I'm going to click that little button. And it's going to think for a minute, and it's going to say the scan and cut transfer is ready. Wow, so that was pretty fast. So let's click close. And then we'll switch back over here to the scan and cut. Got to get the right button. There we go. Okay, so here's my scan and cut. And if I go find this, where to put my stick? I always lose my little stylus. Where did I lay it? Laid it down. Oh well. Maybe it fell on the floor. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to retrieve my data from the cloud because we sent it wirelessly. So I'm going to click this little cloud button and it's going to think for a minute. And look, there's our butterfly. And then I can edit it. Okay, I can click OK again, and then I'm ready to cut. I'm ready to draw, whatever I want to do. So it's really easy to do this. So just remember, the machines, the computer needs to be on the same router that your scan and cut is. So make sure that you get your scan and cut set up on your router, just like we did the sewing machine in the earlier part of the video. Okay, and this one's going to be under, towards the end, it's going to say network. So you just click on there, set it up, and then we'd use the machine registration to finish the registration with Canvas Workspace. So you need to go to canvasworkspace.brother.com, make your account first, okay, and then go on from there. So I will also show you what it looks like in the Canvas Workspace. Now this machine right now is not, my machine now is not attached to my normal Canvas Workspace account. So if you give me a moment, I'm just going to pause the video for a moment and I'm going to set that back up again so that we can do a transfer from the other software so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so I'll just pause the video for a moment and I'll just reset that up. Okay, so I'm back again and I'm going to show you the downloadable version of Canvas Workspace. So here's the little icon on my desktop here. It says Brother Canvas Workspace. I'm just going to go ahead and open it up. And they've been doing some updates and stuff and they'll usually tell you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to log in with my normal account that I usually use. I just reset up my machine so it works with this because this is what I always use. And there is a software update. I'm not going to do it right now. It usually tells you when you log in, it'll tell you there's an update available. I'm just going to hit cancel right now so that I can show you the little sending business. And when you open up this, it's going to be on your computer. You're still going to get this nice Canvas projects information here. Okay, so all of that will be here. The pattern collections and the Disney collections are going to be on here. Now, if you notice here, you're probably going to notice that I have a few things that are actually activated. So the things that say not activated, I don't have activated. But if it doesn't have that word on it, then I have that. So like I have the rotary auto blade, and there's a bunch of stuff I have activated. You know, I have a bunch of the tattered lace collections and that kind of thing. Okay. So what I'm going to do is let's just bring in a square on my. I just click the square over here, and here's a square. So we just have something that we can send to the machine, and then over here, a lot of the icons are similar to the online version, but there's some that are not. Now the text is neat because then I can access my true type fonts in this version, okay? But let's say I want to go ahead and I want to send this little square to my machine. So if you go to File, and then there's Export or Transfer the FCM file, okay? I'm going to click on that button and it's going to give me some options. Transfer the FCM file via the internet, transfer the FCM file to the Scan and Cut DX via USB cable, which I don't have, but I'm going to transfer it via the internet. So if I click this button, it's going to send it now from my account. The register machine is ready to download the transferred file from the internet. So I'm going to click OK. So I've done the same thing we did with the other one. It's just in a different place. Give me a second. I'll minimize this and I'll bring over my Scan and Cut so you can see it. Let's go back to the Scan and Cut here. Okay, whoops. Second here, can't see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. And then here is the Scan and Cut. I can retrieve my data from the cloud. I'm still from the cloud, so I'm going to click the cloud. And it's going to think for a minute. And there's that little square. So you can use either one you'd like, and it just depends on which one you like better. Now, I have a tendency to use the one online. most of the time. There are times when I use the one on my computer, so it just depends on which one you like, that you choose. So just which, you can download it and have it ready to use it. There are a couple of options that you have to use it. Like one of the things is the roll feeder. If you want to use that, you have to use the online, the on the computer version, and then the like the text fonts. If you want to use your 2-type fonts, you have to use the desktop version of the software. So I use them both, but I mostly use the online one. I do a lot of editing. The thing I like about the online one, and I'll show you here, let's go back to my screen here again. The one thing I like about the online version is this one has a lot of little icons and there's no words. So I have a really hard time. I have to go ahead, and some of them are obvious to me what they are. Like I know what this one is, but this one I always have, okay, this is the image tracing. So this is not what it looks like on the other version. So I always have to hover my mouse over it so it will tell me what it is. And like if I go over on the right, if you hover your mouse, it tells you that's the properties box, okay? The next one is edit. So the other one has words on it so that they say edit and you stuff. So I find it a little faster to read than I do to hover. So that's why I use that one most of the time. I can do the same things in that software that I can in this, actually faster. So I do use this one I use the one on the browser most of the time where we signed in originally and made our account. But it's up to you, whichever you like better. Just try them both. I mean, I just use the other one. It's all the stuff is there. It's the same, but the icons to me are just a little bit less user friendly. So I find the online version very quick and easy. And the other thing too is that when people come like to classes and all of us are working together, this version is different looking on the Mac computer and the PC computer. They don't look the same. So it's a little confusing because they look different. They look a little more like the same now than they did. But the online version then looks the same for everybody because everybody's on a browser. So I usually tell people to log in there when we're having classes at the store, because then everybody's looking at the same screen, makes it a little easier. So okay, so that is my video about how to set up. So you can set it up through here too, just so you know. It's under help, and let's see, I always have to look for it. Account settings. So you go to the help menu and then go to account settings right here. And if I click that little screen that we had on the browser, this is exactly, it looks exactly the same. So here's where my machine registration button is. And you can see that I have registered my machine. So it's the same. You do have to go to the browser and go to canvasworkspace.brother.com to set up your account. And so I usually just tell people just set everything up there, download the other software, and then you can use it from there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and update mine this evening as well because I don't have it updated. So hopefully that helps you with setting up your Canvas Workspace account, setting up the wireless on your Scan and Cut, and also the wireless on your machine. And thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sorry that this is really weird looking, but thank you for joining me today for this little pre-recorded video, and we will be back next week for Shields Live as a live video. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do, so I will think about it, and then I will post it soon to let you know what's coming up for the following Thursday. Thanks, everybody.